Get Warrior Tough. Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
Yeah, we're back at it. Get Warrior Tough, the most monumental hour in media anywhere. We are leadership and mental toughness coaches, Andrew Wittman and the Dutch Coleman. All right, Dutch, this is a great conversation to have because we're talking about my most favorite thing in the world, and that is getting complete control of your thoughts, emotions, and attitudes. So here's another question that came in, and this will drive. This is like my hot button for me, so I'm going to try not to get too excited. But so someone said, how does rationalizing, quote, at least I'm not like that person, quote, keep you stuck? Like, you know what? As leadership and mental toughness coaches, Dutch, you and I deal with this kind of thing on a constant basis. Okay, so first off, there is nothing that is uncommon to all mankind, okay? So I've been to almost every continent on the planet, and I understand one thing about human beings. Third world countries, second world countries, it doesn't matter. We all want the same thing. We want a better life tomorrow than we had today, and we want a better life for our kids than we have. All across every culture, anywhere on the planet. Doesn't matter the geography, the politics, the religion, everybody wants it better. Then when we find ourselves saying that, quote, oh, I would never do that, or at least I'm not like so-and-so, if you hear that in your self-talk, like on the inside, because some of us would never say it out loud, but we're thinking that, you should red flag that, right? Because this is a red flag that our self-esteem needs some work. It's an attempt to make ourselves feel better about ourselves and our lives and our results, but by not doing any work, by taking an honest assessment, and fixing our lives, we just feel better by looking down on somebody else. Is that a fair assessment, Dutch?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You read it again, the last part of it. I think people need to hear that. I think the last sentence or the last two sentences.
What I just said?
Yeah, restate that.
I don't know what I just said. We got to play that back. I think it was something along like, if you're making yourself feel better by looking down on somebody, you're not doing any work to fix your stuff. It's a Band-Aid, right? It's a cop-out for you to look down on somebody else and go, well, I'm not like them. At least I'm not like that.
Right.
By the grace of God, there would go I. That's just a cop-out from you doing work and fixing your own stuff.
Right. I'm sorry. I meant reread the question.
Oh, the question is, how does rationalizing, quote, at least I'm not like that person, quote, keep you stuck?
Think about the first part of that, at least. That to me, that ends it right there, at least. You know, when you're thinking about at least, then you've already lost. Whatever comes after that, you're already lost. You're already doomed. No one starts anything positive off with at least. So, you understand? I mean, nothing comes.
Why are we down there? Why are we at the least end of anything? Right? I mean,
exactly.
That's so
So
funny.
if someone asks me a question that starts off or makes a statement and starts off with at least, they're already doomed. Don't ever start off anything with at least. Yeah. And so when you said it, that's what I meant to
read that again.
That
okay.
back
Yeah, that
so that people can hear how that sounds. At least.
Yeah.
Well, at least. Yeah. If you want to live at least, then you're right. Whatever you got to say after that, you're right.
Yeah.
If your target is least, then you're absolutely right. Whatever you just said.
You're already stuck if you're at least. Yeah, if you're staying at least, you're already stuck. That's what I see. I should have said that. I launched in this big long thing. I should have asked you first. We just saved everybody like 3 minutes. Right?
Yeah. Look, check this out. If someone says, at least I'm not this, then you give them a hug and say, you're doing great.
Yeah, bless your heart. As
you're already there.
Yeah.
You're
already there. At least you already made it. You showed up. Oh, my goodness. You know, it's like, these are the kind of things, we're like, well, I would never do that. Yeah, you would. Of course you would. Every human being is alike. The machine is the machine. All right? Anyway.
Unbelievable.
Bless their hearts. So here's another one. How do you avoid making excuses for yourself? Now, I'm going to let you take a swing at that one first because you've been giving better answers than me tonight. So,
how do I avoid making excuses for myself? Well, I begin with the CEO of you. That's how I avoid making excuses for myself, because one of the things that's critical to CEO of you is I'm the problem, I'm the solution. That's how I avoid making excuses.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's it. Because from day one in our program, that's over. That's no more, and you're not allowed in the culture, in the warrior culture. You're not allowed to do that. So that's the answer to that question, and that's why I would never do those things, and that's why anyone in Get Warrior Tough culture won't ever do those things.
Yeah, no, that's exact. I mean, I was going to go right to CEO of you, to Ground Zero Leadership CEO of you, but the thing now, I'm going to. You said at least on the last one. This is another one of my pet peeves. How do you avoid making excuses? See, that's like a sand trap for me. That language of avoiding things and don't, right? Well, that's back to people telling me what they don't want, right? So what do our mom and dad, we look both ways across the street, Johnny? Why? So you don't get hit. Is that what you want? Boom, boom. Sorry, Johnny. Oh, dude, was that the target? We talk and we phrase things in such a negative. I'm not trying to avoid anything. Is that the target? You can't avoid. Dutch, I want you to avoid thinking of a pink elephant. Dang it, stop it. Oh, I couldn't avoid it, right? Don't hit it in the sand trap. Don't hit it avoid the water obstacle on the golf course. Gabloosh. Like, so when you start out asking, this is a bad question. It's bad. I'm sorry, whoever asked it. I'm not reading your name on the air. I'm sorry. But it's a bad question, right? So it's not even, it's worse than a good question would be like, right, how would I recognize excuses? A better question would be, how do I hit my target? Right? Not
right.
How do I avoid making, that's like, how do I avoid the sand trap? You're going right in it. If you look at the sand trap, say, don't hit it there. I need to avoid that. What are you focused on? It's like, avoid thinking about a pink elephant.
Well, the funny thing is, if I have an opportunity to talk to a high producer, a mover, a shaker, however you want to phrase that.
Sure.
Yeah, the thing I don't want to do is ask them questions about stuff they never do. Like, a peak performer never makes excuses. So I'm going to ask them, how do you avoid making excuses?
I just don't.
What are you talking about?
Right, that's what you said.
About?
That's what you said.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, that was over the first day, man. When I decided I'm in the program, it's out, man.
Right. So I'd rather take that time to ask them questions about what makes them successful. Like what do you do? Not what you avoid doing or what you don't do. Like, what do you do?
Right.
That's what I want to know. What do you do? What not what you don't do.
There's just so much of that. Avoid this, avoid that. How do I avoid this? How do I avoid that? 10 secrets to avoid putting on 10 pounds. Here's a secret to putting on you don't want to put on 10 pounds. Stop eating Twinkies, man. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But anyway, thank you for the question, though. I love it. I love that you're listening. Thank you. I'm totally not ripping you for asking the question. It's just a bad question. All right, so here's another good one, man. How do you start holding yourself to a higher standard? And again, man, you know what? Okay, so listen, Dutch, I've run into this in corporations and businesses all over the country. It is a constant pushback about what we can't do and why that won't work. And, enough already, okay? Are you an American or an Americant? Instead of saying what you can't do and that's impossible, please suspend your disbelief for just 2 minutes and say, yeah, okay, I get it, it's impossible, we can't do it, but if we could do it, how would we do it? And that's how you begin to hold yourself to the highest standard, by stop saying we can't do stuff and making excuses and being a can't person.
Yep. It's sad to me when again, when you get an opportunity to talk to high performers and I'm asking these questions again, the high standards thing, what do you want? Like, what do you want other than those high standards? Like, why are you thinking about anything other than better? Like, what? You shouldn't have to make yourself think, and this is for anyone listening. You shouldn't have to force yourself to think about better. Better should always be the target. I don't care. At the very least, here I go. At the very least, you should always be aiming for better than where you are. Otherwise, why are you wasting your time thinking about anything?
Right.
Better.
Dude, that's what we opened the show with. If you're not it's springtime. If you're not growing, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Dying.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing with, it's always, if you arrived, life is over, man. If you've gotten as far as you could get and this is it, wow, that's just awful.
Mm-hmm. And the sad part is that these are real questions, and it's not to knock that people are asking the questions.
No, it's not.
It's just to make you ask the question again, but think about the question and think about how silly the question is not from a standpoint of embarrassing yourself, but to think about how powerful and how strong you are, and how you're basically limiting yourself. You're hurting yourself by thinking like that, because you yourself is so much more. So when you restate that question with clarity, you got to shake your head and go, you know what? I didn't mean that. That was a bad question, because I'm better than that. I'm better. I want better. So I'm going to start thinking and acting like I want better. So those questions will never, ever enter your mind again, ever.
Yeah, it's just, it kind of reminds me of the Hernan Cortez, right? Then the burn the boats, 1500s. He brought the Spanish Armada over, right, to take all the Aztec gold, you know, and he's got 600 troops against 30,000, and he knows he's the two motivational drivers, right? The Aztecs are fighting for their families and their homes, and his guys are fighting to get gold. I mean, you know, money's a bad external driver. So what he did is he burnt the boats. He had a beach party, and while everybody was drinking cervezas on the beach, he went and burned the boats, so the only way home was to win, right? So that's how you hold yourself to a higher standard, that you burn the boats. There's no going back. Mediocrity is not an option anymore. It's not. There's no plan B for mediocrity. There's no plan B for making excuses. There's no plan B for, at least I'm not like that person. There's no plan B for not being a peak. Yeah, there's no plan B for not going for better. There's no plan B for not growing. I burnt those boats. There is no going back. It's only forward.
There's no escape plan. You're all in. And you know what? The most successful people in business that I've spoken to, that built something, they put everything they had into that sucker, man. All hours of the day, all times of the night, they were thinking about that. They were building that thing, and they were committed to it. You got to be all in. Burn those boats.
You got to be. I mean, there's no highway option. That's it. When you come up with a plan B, it's really plan A. It's just a matter of time. All right, Dutch, we're up on our break. You guys, you're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with the Dutch Coleman and Andrew Wittman, your friendly neighborhood leadership and mental toughness coaches.